Hello friends, my name is Dr. Ashay Narendra Jadhav. I am a sports medicine doctor. I work as a medical officer at Sports Authority of India, Mumbai Center, and also I am media and protocol head at Indian Society of Sports and Exercise Medicine. Today I shall be talking on return to exercise guidelines post COVID-19. So let me first give you a disclaimer. This video is meant for educational purposes only. I am a registered medical doctor, but no information in this video is to be a substitute for professional medical advice. Please follow your doctor's advice. Let's first go through the current status of COVID-19 in India. Currently, as of 24th April, total new cases added were more than 3 lakhs and are increasing as we speak. So what can you do to prevent infection? Wear a mask, wash your hands regularly, and maintain social distancing. What about immunity boosters? Number 1 would be improve your diet choices. Add more immune boosting foods such as turmeric, garlic, neem leaf, hemp seeds, etc. Number 2 would be to do physical activity. It should be greater than 150 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous intensity. It has also proven to reduce symptom severity in severe COVID. Number 3 would be dietary supplements with proven effect in immune boosting as well as reducing symptom severity such as vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, etc. Also, many including our government has suggested using Ayurvedic options which include Chyawanprash, Kadas, smearing nostril with ghee or coconut oil, etc. Even homeopathy has some effect as for many, so worth a try. Unfortunately, you got infected, now what? Don't panic, isolate yourself. Contact your doctor for further treatment. So what are current treatment guidelines? For sake of simplicity, I'll be using WHO Guidelines for Clinical Management published on 25th January 2021 and its Guidelines for Therapeutics published on 31st March 2021. You may download this from official WHO website, link is given in the description. WHO has defined cases as per severity as non-severe, severe and critical. But let this decision be on your doctor to determine if you need hospitalization or not. As per therapeutic guidelines, WHO has recommended against using hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine. Lopinavir or ritonavir, recommendation against. Ivermectin, WHO recommends not to use except in context of clinical trials. Remdesivir, conditional recommendation against. But your doctor shall be using as there are multiple guidelines from state governments, hospitals, central government institutions like ICMR, which doctors need to follow as per their place of practice. Systemic corticosteroids. It is recommended only in patients with severe or critical COVID-19 infection, whereas conditional recommendation against for patients with non-severe infection. Just yesterday, this guideline is being circulated among doctors from AIIMS Delhi. Not sure where to find its source online, but looks like it is authentic. On going through the chart, we see ivermectin is to be considered in mild disease with exception in pregnant and lactating women. Also, emergency use authorization is given for remdesivir, tocilizumab and convalescent plasma only in specific circumstances. So here, remdesivir can be considered in moderate to severe patients with 10 days of symptom onset. Much spoken on treatment options. So let your treating doctors make the right decision as per guidelines followed in respective hospitals. Now let's jump ahead to post-COVID infection. Kindly follow your doctor's advice on discharge. Now coming to the main topic of return to exercise guidelines. There are multiple guidelines available, most shared being from British Medical Journal, British Journal of Sports Medicine, World Health Organization, Asperta guidelines from Qatar, Exercise is Medicine guideline of American College of Sports Medicine. Before we delve into guidelines, first we should understand respiratory system physiology. We breathe in air which enters via nose or mouth and eventually reaches alveoli, where oxygen is absorbed and diffused into blood to supply to rest of our body. So what happens due to COVID infection? This infographic is designed by Avesta Rastin and is available on website of Visual Capitalist. Here if you can see the top of the image which represents an healthy alveoli, whereas with increasing severity of infection we can see development of fluid inside alveoli. It is termed as pneumonia, which prevent gas exchange and eventually causes breathing difficulties, leading to requirement of oxygen support. On X-ray or CT, we can clearly see this change, which is why doctor asks for CT scan reports. Hope now we can understand the need for such tests. Also, to monitor, you must have been told to check oxygen saturation using pulse oximeters. This helps monitor if your gas exchange is proper or deteriorating. which could help doctors provide prompt treatment when required. So any COVID infection will cause some degree of lung damage and you will feel weakness. Hence, guidelines were prepared to avoid any complications and help you return to activities safely. Coming back to physical activity guidelines, this one is a general guideline for all from British Medical Journal, published on 8th January 2021. Link in description, which I recommend for all. Let's begin. So we will go slow understanding each step. We shall start with a few yes and no questions. First one is, did illness require hospital treatment? If answer to that is yes, then you need to follow guidelines from the hospital, which will include a team of professionals to help you physically and mentally. If the answer was no, then we need to know whether there was any cardiac, as in heart related symptom like chest pain, palpitation, severe breathlessness or syncope. If yes, then further assessment should be done like examination by doctor and investigation, which should have a specialist cardiology opinion. It may involve additional testing related to heart as it is mentioned here. Now, if myocarditis is confirmed, then about 3 to 6 months of exercise restriction is needed to prevent any further damage, and treatment from specialist doctors is to be continued until fitness is given by them. Why? Because myocarditis has been found in many patients. One such study in Journal of American Medical Association found up to 60% patients developing myocarditis. If any other cardiac pathology is found, then specialist treatment will be needed. Coming to the top of chart again, if there are no cardiac symptoms, then next we should consider psychological symptoms like for PTSD. These symptoms are quite common and not to be ignored. It may include symptoms like anxiety, loss of interest in activities, loneliness, insomnia, etc. If yes, then do take proper consultation from specialist for the same. Depending on severity, some may require interventions, after which they may go to the next step of phased return to physical activity. Now, if no psychological symptoms are present, then are there any other symptoms related to any other organ system? If yes, then take proper consultation. If none, then wait at least 7 days to begin phased return to physical activity program. Now we come to the main guidelines for exercise. 3 points to remember. Minimum of 7 days should be spent at each phase. If you find any difficulty, then drop back to the previous phase. Only move up when progression criteria are met. Phase 1. It is a preparation phase where you can start with rest, breathing exercises, balance and flexibility exercises, and gentle walking. Suggested RPE is 6 to 8. You may refer to the table given below to understand what RPE is. Phase 2 is low intensity with increasing RPE up to 11 for 7 days, and you may progress to phase 3 when you can walk 30 minutes at RPE 11. Phase 3 is moderate intensity exercises with RPE up to 14 for next 7 days, and you are able to perform exercises for 30 minutes and feel recovered after 1 hour. Then you may progress to phase 4. Phase 4 involves addition of coordination and functional skills like maybe jump rope or burpees, etc., whichever you are comfortable doing. You may progress to phase 5 when fatigue levels are normal. Phase 5 is your final pre-COVID infection level regular exercise pattern. Here your RPE can go beyond 15. Again, to reinforce the information, only progress when you don't have any symptoms. Seek medical advice whenever in doubt. And last, never ignore your psychological symptoms. Seek help whenever you feel the need. Now coming to another guideline, this is an infographic which is specific to professional athletes. This was created by UK home countries and is used as a reference by even our government sports organization. This guidance is aimed mainly for athletes who had mild to moderate symptoms, while severe infection needs appropriate assessments and testing. Yet in most sports organizations, we are making sure all are tested irrespective of severity for blood, respiratory and cardiac function before return to play protocol is implemented. It begins after 7 days of symptom-free period and off all treatment. The protocol is a bit complicated to understand for athletes, but it is made such that the athletes are under medical supervision. So if they are not following, then it can be corrected. There are in total 6 stages. Stage 1 is the longest duration stage of 10 days minimum, where athletes are only allowed to do normal daily living activities and walking. Athletes should be monitored for symptoms and various organizations use their own personalized tools, so it may vary. Here it is suggested monitoring of subjective symptoms, resting heart rate, and injury psychological readiness tool. Stage 2 is minimum of 2 days where athletes can start light jogging, stationary cycle, but no resistance training is permitted. Percent heart rate max is below 70% and duration of exercise should be less than 15 minutes. RPE has been added to the monitoring tool. Athletes can progress to stage 3A if they can comfortably do exercises in stage 2. Stage 3A is minimum of 1 day. Here the training duration and frequency is increased with heart rate max up to 80%. Stage 3B is also a minimum of 1 day. The training duration is increased further while the percentage heart rate max remains below 80%. Complex training activities are added. Stage 4 is near normal training session, but percent heart rate max is still at 80%. This stage is to be given a minimum of 2 days before progression to stage 5. Stage 5 is normal training progression as decided by the coach. Maximum heart rate exercises can be performed. The earliest that you can reach this stage is day 17. Stage 6 is return to competition in sport specific timelines. Hope this video was helpful. Stay safe and strong. Thank you.